thing here. Pause that for a second because I gotta get this story. So going into this match, I knew I knew this guy had a really good chest wrap. I knew he had a good low gut, and he really wasn't very offensive. So for me, I texted with Gwiz and Jameel game plan and Zach. I'm like, I think the best thing is just first minute and a half, first 2 minutes, like keep it slow, hand fight, control center. I'm gonna be able to wear them out towards the end. Like if it's 0-0 after a couple minutes, that's fine. And then when you play the match, obviously I stuck with that game plan for about 5 seconds.
Man, you can let this one go now. Yeah, that's. I was like, I don't think that's how I remember
I'm
it.
like, when I was in high school, I used to always do this attack where I would bounce from the open and just try to blow through it. And I hit it against Switzerland, so I was like, try it again. And just get a little extended, and he did a good job of taking me through. And then I'm like on my back, and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? And then he gets on top, and I'm like, all right, I know low gut's coming to my left side. I'm defending it well. And just when you think you're defending it well, then you get taken over. And
Right.
in 30 seconds, you're down 6-0. And you're like, all right, get back to the center, get ready to go again. So there was never in that moment, like I knew it was bad, but it was just like, just respond, just get back to the center, get back to offense. Like you're fine. You got time. Just don't even take the time to try to process what just happened. Just get back to the center.
All right. Start hand fight, and who cares what the score is?
And at this point, you got to be a little careful, right? Because you're a move away from it being over, and I knew he had that potential. So I think I did take a little bit of time here, and I didn't attack for a little bit because I was just like I just need to reset a little bit. So just kind of get to a thumb block and hold position, and just let the match play out a little bit. And I think off a restart, then I ended up getting a takedown here. But I was definitely just trying to breathe a little bit, just get my bearings. I knew there was a lot of time left. I didn't need to necessarily force anything, but I was trying to get a read on that underhook. But he was doing a really good job of controlling center, and that was something that kind of surprised me a little bit. He just did a good job of digging his feet in and staying in the center. I believe there's a restart here. So there I was like, I got to regroup a little bit, and now I'm back on. Now I'm trying to score again. So I get a read on that underhook. And I knew I could get into the body. I probably just needed to switch up the way that I was attacking because he did want to go chest wrap. But it slowed down a little bit, which was which was good, so I could regroup.
Yeah, that's great. So that last go was like, not even, I'm just wrestling. I'm not trying to attack here. I just need to clear my head for a
Yeah,
second.
I was just trying to get my bearings down a little bit after some craziness.
Yeah, it's not how you want to start the world finals.
But this was big here. I was able to control that other side. I get that takedown now, same thing. Like get back to center. You got to take down. It doesn't really mean much because you got to score a lot more, but that it gives you a little bit more breathing room. So
Yeah,
that was a big takedown.
and telling yourself I
Obviously,
can do it
for what's about to happen, that was a big takedown because it got going
would
here.
have been would have been over. What happened?
So
Did we restart? Yeah,
there we go.
it should be
And so what's
six
interesting about
two.
this
Whenever it's
flurry
six
is I
two. Yeah.
I I did a better job on this next exchange, but it still just wasn't good enough,
Yeah.
right? So I get back to that same position. I
There we
try
go.
to take it through, um,
Oh,
and we'll get to it.
the
But
score should be 6-2. It should be about 4 minutes left in the period. 6-0. There's a 6-2. We can let it play.
yeah, there we
That's
right
yep.
here.
That's the last takedown we saw. Perfect.
Yep. So I start getting a read on this underhook. I get into another great shot, and I do a little bit of a better job to try to make it my own. But you can tell why these aren't my points here. So another good underhook. Punch it again. I get to that far knee. Same position here, and I just go a little bit too much. So if I would have,
Hey,
I
you
think I
remember
was
what you
in
can do
the
that one more time, Amanda?
I was in the position to make it my own points, but I let go of my lock, and that's one thing they look for a lot, right? If the guy's attacking, if he keeps his hands locked and he drives through, you're probably going to get those points. But my hands locked because I try to brace. He takes me over and he ends up on top. And yeah, this was not good.
There it is.
So right there,
Oh,
you
you
see
never
my
even
hands.
got you never even got your hands locked.
Yeah, no, but my hand comes down to stop on the mat, and then I go through, and he ends up on top.
Okay, okay.
So
I'm sure we'll see it on the replay too. So, all right, but that's good to know. So you knew immediately these are my points, or was it upon watching
I
later?
thought there was a chance. Right when I came up, I was like, man, that was my four. I took him right over, but I think the way he ended up on top too, like his hips ended up on top,
Yeah.
it did not look good. For like obviously my move, he defends, I brace hand there, and then he ends up with his hips on top, which was I think the bad look. So what's even worse about this is they go, it never should have been for him to me. That call really doesn't make any sense. It either had to be for me to him or just for him. They call for two, and we challenge it. So we win the challenge, but they just go for him. So instead of it being 10-4 and us wrestling, we challenge it. They go just for him, and now I'm down 10-2. So it was bad, it was worse, and then it got really bad
you,
because we won the challenge.
you won the challenge and you lost yourself 2 points.
Yeah. So
Oh,
in this point, this was a really, I mean, this was hard to match because I kind of thought it was my four, and then rewatching it, I was like, yeah, that doesn't look good. And you know, it and this is where probably a little bit more maturity and experience. If I'm a little bit more honest with myself, I should have told the coaches not to challenge, right? Because I would have known that, coming out of there only giving up 2 points was probably a win. But I was like, yeah, yeah, go ahead and challenge it. That could be for me. So maybe a little bit of, I don't know, just more seasoning, more being a veteran, maybe would have been better. And now this is hard to wrestle down by 8 because if you make one more mistake, it's over, right? But I wanted to score before the end of the period. I was like, if I can get one more going into this period, I'll be all right. And I hit a great shot, great ankle, and I hear you're like, oh my God. But what
uh-oh.
I did
Uh-oh.
better here was keeping my hands locked on the single. So you notice once I get to that leg,
Yeah.
I keep it the whole time through. So it's my attack. He goes to counter. I hold him to his back a little bit, and I never let go of that leg. So that shows, I think, to the ref that hey, this is my attack. This is me finishing it. I'm holding the leg. Um, and Jamil felt really comfortable with it. I was really, really nervous right now. This was probably the worst feeling of the entire match was watching this because I was like, man, they could go to him. But you see, I get my hands locked right here. I go take him over. I hold him there for a little bit, and I end up on top. You could maybe argue 2-2, but I don't think it was to him, just to him. I think there were some points for me there. Just so happens they challenge it, and I think the reason they wanted to challenge it bad was because I think and this is just me, but I think they wanted to end it there because they knew that it was going to be a dogfight. That if they could just end it there and that be the match, then that was their best case scenario. But in this moment, yeah, I was nervous. I remember like pacing back and forth and it not like laughing, but I was like, man, if I lose like this in the world finals, I'm gonna be really pissed off. So I kind of, I said in the interview, like I said a prayer to God. I was like, man, please just give me one more chance. Like give me one more life at this. And I just had a feeling I could figure it out. If I had another chance to keep this match going, I felt like I could win the match. And my prayers were answered. I won the challenge. We got another point for the lost challenge. And all of a sudden, like 10-5, I was just like, man, I'm in this, right? I'm in this. Let's get to the end of this period. There was like 3 seconds left. I actually tried to get a shot right here too, which was almost bad. Uh, at this point, there's a lot that had happened, right? And I knew that. I just wanted to get to my corner, just get towed off, get a quick drink, kind of hear what the coaches had to say, and then get back to action. And right now in my head, right, Joe and Jamil did a great job. One thing Jamil kept saying to me, and he must have said it 10 times, it's like you're built for this. You're built for this type of match. And I am. Like if you watch the way that I train, you watch the places I take myself when I go into training, I was built to be able to deal with some adversity and put myself in a really uncomfortable position to win in terms of how I was feeling. So, and I broke it down into something simple like it's no longer a 6 minute match. It's no longer 0-0. It's a 3 minute go, and I'm down by five, and he would be up on criteria if I scored five. So I got to find a way to score 6 points. And I knew he probably, wasn't going to take a whole lot more attacks, so it was going to be on me. But it was just something that I could process in the moment. Like, I don't need to score 10 points. I only need to score six, right? And that's three takedowns. I can get three takedowns in 3 minutes. That's just kind of where I took my mindset to.
Love it. And you're a psycho, so you got that working for you too.
Yeah. And there's part of it that you enjoy it. You're just like, and there's not a whole lot actually, this was a great single leg. Um, but I try to rush it a little bit, and I come to the hip. Notice on this finish, I go to the hip. That's a
Oh,
this was a little nerve-wracking too. Jameel was freaking out in the corner because we were here. But the great part about this was that I made him work in the first 15 seconds. I didn't score, but I made him work. And one thing he does a really good job in this first minute and a half of this period of holding center and making first contact. And that was when I started to panic a little bit because I was like, man, I'm not getting my underhook. I'm not getting the feel that I need. I only got like a minute and 10 left. I think it's starting to get a little dire. So he did a good job of closing the distance here and getting to his first ties off the center. But what I was saying before, like when I'm visualizing and you're laying in bed at night, I used to always would think like, you're down by 7, you're down by 8, you got to come back in 2 minutes and you win in dramatic fashion. And like that's always kind of how I visualize. When I was cutting weight back in the day, it was like you need to take down with 10 seconds left, you get it, the crowd goes wild. So I feel like I've always kind of wanted that moment and I never had it. So when this opportunity came, it's like, man, dig in, this is what you want, then go get it. So, I'm working pretty hard to get to my hook. Just can't quite get any openings. He's doing a good job of matching the hand fight. And this was key here. So I got a little bit of a break. You notice I do a little bit of a circle. Just take a deep breath, reanalyze the situation. I think there was how much time was left there? 140
yeah,
something.
it looks like it.
Um, yeah, so 140 left, time's starting to run out a little bit. And I knew I wasn't getting my underhook. I had to do something different. I had to throw something different at him. And this is where a lot of growth on my end is happening because this is something I wouldn't have been able to do before. You notice I punch my underhook. I try to go for an outside step. I find this inside tie and I pull an outside step to a double. And that's something in the past I wouldn't have been able to do because I didn't quite trust in my other offense enough
Sure.
because I was in this position, I knew my underhook wasn't working. I could have punched underhook for the next minute and a half and I would have lost probably 10-5. So it's like that tested me a lot. Okay, if you've made growth like you think you do, this is when you have to be able to do it. You have to be able to execute when the time gets there. And I was able to keep kind of pop my head out there, so I avoid the chest wrap. And then what's funny about this when it was 10-5, when you're in it, your body's just telling you to quit so bad. You want to be done so bad, and you're
Boom.
like, and that was sick. But you 10-5, you're just like, man, maybe it's just too far gone. And I get that takedown. I'm like, okay, 10-7, I can't give up now. Like it's within, I can do this. And I come back, and because I hit that other attack, it opened up my underhook, and I was able to blow through one right there. So then 10-9, I know he's starting to feel it again. I know I need another takedown. And just go back to where you're at during this training. When things get really hard, who are you in training? And I was always someone that tried to push through the pain and get to another attack. And that attack there was a great adjustment from the first two, right? Getting my head up, getting my hips in, kind of sagging back a little bit. And I got a 4. You see me going for this late. I didn't realize I got 4. I only thought I had 2. And I was like, 11-10, if I can just get a turn. Being up by 3 is way better than 1.
Yeah.
So I try to get this lace. I don't get it. And then I look up and it's 13-10. I'm like, okay. So it's like weird. I still feel like I'm losing, but the score is in my favor. So I try to just not even think, just kind of get back in there. And same thing. How many times I've done drills in the room, you're up by 1, you're up by 2 with 15 seconds left. And I just try to get to my underhook. And yeah, this is probably my favorite part of the match. You kind of see me look up and I just like smile. Like it was I remember looking up at the scoreboard. I was like, dude, did that just happen? Like did I really just pull that off? And it was that was just so much emotions. It's like everything running through your head and then I just get sniped and it's just like, oh boy.
So awesome. That
Yeah,
was
it would. Yeah.
awesome.
And then beat your hands into your face to try to knock some sense into you. But dude, it was just you got Jamil yelling in your corner. My whole family was there. The crowd's there. It's just like I can't believe that just happened. Like I can't believe it. Just for it to win is one thing. To win like that is just like, damn. You're hit with so much emotions that you almost feel numb. You feel like you're kind of just like walking on air
Yeah.
and it just it just feels so good. It's I said one time, I was like, man, it's a feeling that you just can't buy. Like you just can't get it any other way than that, and you can't really describe it any other way either.
Yeah, it's gotta feel surreal. I was with my parents and some of my siblings. We were watching this, and sure enough, you win, and I go, oh guys, watch it. This dude's about to explode. This I don't know what's gonna happen. This guy's he's and you just like fell on your back, and I was like, no, no, I swear, this guy's gonna go nuts. Just give it a second. He's gonna go freaking nut. And I think if it's all this stuff, this stuff right here. I was like, I knew it was coming. It was awesome to
Yeah,
see. It's really fun to watch this.
yeah. It's yeah, it's crazy, man. Tyler did such a good job of getting some behind the scenes footage too. And
Oh
there's one
yeah,
clip of me in the back, and I was so happy. I was smiling, I'm talking, and then as I started walking, I started feeling the tears come up, and I just like completely broke down. As like, man, it's like in that moment you start to feel all of those shortcomings come up. It's like, man, you remember how you felt after the NCAA tournaments. You remember how you felt at U23s, and it's just like just maybe like a sense of relief, I think, when in that moment it's just like, man, it feels so good to finally feel this, and not be on the other side of it. So it just you just kind of I was really overcome with the emotion of it all, and just broke down. And then I had to get pictures right after it, and then get
yeah.
on the podium. It was like, okay, just go crazy, I guess.